Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian report, starting with the ASX 200 here, and we are looking at intermediate wave 4 here on the daily chart, and we're looking now at wave 1 to the upside with a wave 2 pullback, and then looking for wave 3 to the upside. This particular move from wave 4 here to wave 5 here, we'll have 5 waves in it, so we can move into that in a moment. But just before we do that, I just want to talk about this little bigger picture here. Now, we had the resources drive this to the upside here for Australia, and now the resources are topping out and turning over, and the banking sector's moving up. And we've talked about the banking sector a little bit before, in that, let me just get a chart for that. Okay, sorry about that. I mean, I use CBA because it's the greatest weight in the index in terms of percentage on the ASX benchmark. ASX 200, it's about 9%. So with this market here, we've talked about this before. Now, in very sort of simple terms, we're looking for wave 3 here, wave 4 here, and then wave 5 up through to here. We were looking at wave 1 and 2 and 3, and that's a really beautiful structure in terms of Elliott. And then we've got our complicated wave 4. It pulled back a bit further than the 38.2% retracement level, but we could put that on a logarithmic price scale too. It will probably tune in a little bit better. But the main thing here is that yeah, this is corrective, and we, as I mentioned, when this low came in here, we can push up from this low here. We can push up from this low in 2 ways. We can push up from here in terms of 5 waves, just moving sort of straight up through here up to 100, and then that would be a very serious top indeed once that occurs. So the other way that this could go, because this is complicated here, and it could get even more complicated, I don't think so, because the size of this here compared to the size of wave 2 here, it's got sort of proportion there in my mind's eye in terms of you know, how large that wave 4 should be in terms of wave 2 here. So yeah, but the more complicated version would basically be an A wave, a B wave, a C wave, a D wave and an E wave, and then pushing up from that point. So a bit complicated, but that low's in. So I do think that what I was waiting for to help confirm this is that on the daily chart here. So as I mentioned, it could get a bit more complicated from this low in terms of a D wave and an E wave back here, and then to the upside. But we're certainly going up in one way, and we'll certainly go up to 100 here. So I'm thinking that, you know, folks that have, you know, managed super funds or whatever their vehicles that they have, then this is a really good opportunity to move into the banking sector. You don't have to shovel it all in, of course, but it does appear that it's on its way now, because I'd been counting this little move up through here, and what I was sort of waiting for is that I know that I had wave 1 and 2 in here, and this is a 3rd wave here, but this could have also been just a rally for covering shorts, balancing books into financial year, you know, and it's turned on a solstice, so all the GAN people will be excited about that. But look, from my perspective, and this now is looking for 5 waves up here, so basically 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then moving up into 5 here if we make a new high here. So that will give us 5 waves to the upside here. So there's no need to rush about this either, because you know, 5 waves up, after 5 waves we get a correction, so that will, you know, we can move in there as well. So on the tick chart that I've just been following this with here, coming back in here, we had wave 1 and 2 here and had wave 3 here. Yeah, it was a little bit confusing through here. I can't do everything right all the time, but what I can say here now is that from wave 3 here, an A and a B and a C is probably the best fit, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and heading up to 5. So 75 will be a nice resistance area there. So the main point here is that we have 5 waves up. So we have 5 waves up off the low here now. So that means that after 5 waves, we get a correction, we'll get another 5 up, right? So that will take us up to the 80 mark here. So yeah, I think this is really interesting, and this is the same, Westpac's the same as well. So a little bit clearer here in terms of 1 and 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, and moving up probably 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. But obviously it's going to dance across the 30 there, and in that case there's not much that can happen. It can either go straight through, it can go to here and fail from here, but if it's going to have a pattern there, then it's going to be the classic trading levels pattern, where it has the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and some type of correction here, and we're looking for that first high above the level. If we can refine it to the second one, then we can move up from that point there. But we do want to see, after 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, we do want to see some sort of corrective pattern occurring here, and you know, that can pull back to the 50-60% retracement level. I wouldn't count on that, but we need to bring that into the fold there. So if I take this previous high over here, you know, it can pull back into this space here, but it may only pull back into this consolidation that's got support here as well here. So whoopsie daisy. So a move down into here is probably more likely in some type of correction than a move up. So we'll look to catch this, but what it does, this 5-wave sequence here, what it does, it really helps me look at this bigger picture here and think to myself, because I could have labeled this wave 4 here and then put wave 5 here. But if the banking sector is going to take over the movements of the ASX, then we can look for this being just wave 1 here and wave 2 back, driven by the banking sector, and then moving further to the upside. I think that's pretty exciting. But anyway, let's just go in from wave 4 to wave 5 here. We're looking for 5 waves in here, and starting with the 4-hour chart. So there's a couple of different ways to count this particular correction across here. Not that it matters too much. Our focus is really on this 5-wave structure into here. Normally we can grab, if it is a triangle pattern, then we can grab the length of wave A and put it to E here and look for a target to the upside, or you can grab the top of wave 3 here, but in this case I'll take this wave 3 top here and have this coming into the 61.8% mark. But the 6,300 is the top of minor group 1. So the number 3 is a really important number. So in my mind, we have 1 is the strongest number, then 5, then 8, then 3. So we should see the setup here, and this will be in line with the banks as well. Westpac, yeah, all those, they'll all be at big levels. So yeah, that's there. Just remove that. So this can be counted as a triangle here, which is quite a nice fit as an A and a B and a C and a D and an E wave here for wave 4, and then pushing up there. So it can also be counted differently as well. It can also be counted as an A wave here, a B wave over here, and a C wave down through to here as well. I just can't get a clear count. This is in 3 waves or such and such. So so now we need to count this move up here. We'll be looking for a high above here, and a move up into this space here. So I don't know if we can go straight into the tick chart. I'll just see what I've done on the hourly chart. No, that's pointless. Tick chart here. Okay, so from this wave 4 low here, I'm looking at this being wave 1 here and wave 2 here. This is 100 ticks. I'm looking for something like this here. So wave 1 and 2 into here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 1 and 2 here, all of this, the third wave up here, the fourth wave here. Now what I don't know here is I don't know if I should put wave 5 here with wave 3 here, and then wave 4 pulling back to this wave 4 here, and then wave 5 moving up into this space here. We either go that way, or I could put, because normally wave 3 makes a bit of a top there, and put wave 4 over here. So the other way for this is that this is just wave 5 here, this is wave 1 here, and wave 2 coming back. It might get a bit sort of jumpy on the start, but wave 1 and 2, wave 3 into here, wave 4 to here, and then wave 5 up here for wave 3, then wave 4 back, and then wave 5 up here. It doesn't really matter, but if you're trading this here, you really need to keep the stop under this wave 4. In fact, I would go to the distance and put it under the number 2 here, and that way it's just safe, you know. It shouldn't be over trading anyway, and yeah, don't want to put the stops too close to things. I've made a few of those mistakes myself this month and last month. So yeah, anyway, look, that's it there. So on the other Asian markets, China, no real change here. Still looking for this low to push up into wave 4 here, and then wave 5 to the downside here. So no real sort of change here. We've taken money off the table here. I mean, of course, if you want to take money off the table here, that's fine. But what we would be doing is that, in logic terms, we would be moving, you know, I could be wrong with this count, and we could be moving out of a downward trend that could just pop down here because of the trade war or something, you know what I mean? So we need to keep logic behind the wave count. The trading levels and Elliott's good for the direction, and trading level is good for the actual trade setup, but it is in a downtrend, and it's sort of we've done all the right things. So I think just leave the stop out here. If this does push up into new highs here, perhaps above these highs here, perhaps reduce the trade at that point completely, or do whatever you need to do. But we'll certainly look to short it again over here with the right setup. The Hong Kong market, I think that we need to give this some consideration here as well. First of all, I think here, I mean, we're on the thing here that concerns me for the bounce here. I think we're from this little top here, I can see that this is all of wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and wave 3 here. So we can go to wave 4 and have another wave down here for wave 5, because we're still one wave short there. Okay, but it still doesn't make a big deal, a lot of difference in the long run. We're on 28 here. 8 is a strong number. So we're certainly going to get support here, and we can see the support coming in, because we can see that we got the first bounce here, and it's slowing, another one here, and it's slowing down, you know, into these. We're getting these all quite close here. So we can expect a bounce that can come back up into this sort of space here. So it may be a good idea to tighten this scenario up here as well. So I just think that we should bring the stop all the way down to this high here, and yeah, I mean, it's just a balanced view, isn't it, you know? So let's just see. If it just drops down from here further, then that's fine. We'll still leave the stop roughly there, in just in case I'm wrong and it can't get back up above the 28 and keeps cascading down at that point. But I think we should lock in what we've got in this particular space here, and we'll also look to get back in over here if there's another move down through here, because there's an extension in wave 3 here. That means that wave 1 here and wave 5 will be roughly the same length coming into here, so not even a big deal on this side here. The Nikkei, once again here too, we've got wave 1 down here, wave 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to here, and then I'm looking at an extension in the 5th wave here in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So I think that we should take profit here on the 2150 area. Well, the market's here now, so yeah, I mean, we're going to be pushing back up to here and then down again through here. So yeah, taking profit here, and then we'll look back to get in into this space once wave 4 is completed, and we know what we're looking at a little bit here. The retracement level here from wave 2 top to wave 3 low, indeed, if that is wave 3 low here, this doesn't count from this high here, it doesn't count very nicely as 5 waves. I could go no, that's part of the 5th wave of that 4th wave, so 1 and 2 and 3 here. So it's not really displaying, I haven't pulled it apart on tick chart, not displaying a great 5 waves here, but I think 2150 is a nice place to take profit on that trade, and we can look to get back in. The 38.2% retracement level is back up at 22 there, so we can look to get some skin in the game in that zone there. So now the Nifty, it's still outwitting me a little bit. The move down here appears to be in 5 waves. The move up here is in 3 waves. The move back down here is in 3 waves. And then this move up here, if I call it a C wave here, then I'll need 5 waves here to call it that. And we'll look at that in a moment. We'll look at this trend in a bit of detail in a moment. I had this over here as a top here too. If that gets breached, then we'll go along from that point. But I'm not going to do that now. We're going to wait over here, and we're going to wait for this high to come in play. So if I can just move that up here, let's just say that high, wherever that high, if it does go in there, we want that high to be in place, and then we'll put that on there, because once it makes that high in 5 waves, it'll pull back. And if it was going to go higher at that point, then then we can look to get into it at that point. But we must let that high come in first now, otherwise we'll get trapped. So I'll just straighten these up a little bit here. And I still don't know if this is wave 2 pulling back into here, which is probably the case, but we'll need to, it still could be wave 4 here as well. So I'll just save that. Because I don't know, we have to go into strategy mode. So on the 1 hour chart, we just really want to have a look at this little zone in here from that B wave here. So from this move down here is corrective here, okay? So what I'm looking at here is we can look at this as a 5-wave structure to the upside. It can be wave 1 or wave A. I think it can be wave 1 here, wave 2 here, or wave B. So it can be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave finished right here, right? And what means that we can come down through here. But at the same time, I can't confirm that just yet, because the bullish count's still in play as well, as 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the 3rd wave. The 4th wave here, this would be roughly the 38.2% retracement level at eyeballing it, but it can pull back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. But I don't think it will, because then it gives us overlapping wave structures with wave 1 here, so as it is at the moment. So we'd need to see it just push one more move up there for wave 5 here. So I just need to see all of this. This junction's got to play out in one way or another for us to trade. If the 10.655 here becomes the retested resistance, then we've got a bear market on our hands at that stage, and you can look to short from there. So that short trade would come in from here. And if this moves down into here, it's going to bounce back up here anyway. But even moving down into here probably doesn't quite solve it, because this could be wave 1 here and wave 2 here, then 5 waves for wave 1 of the next smaller degree. So there would still be support at the 50-60%, yeah. So really we need to, this would be the 50-60% retracement level in that case. So we would need the 61.8% retracement level as a resistance to be able to short this, because it's still got the possibility of 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 of a smaller degree into this space and then up. So there's yeah, just chucks in a third variation on this. So I'm still not ready to make a call on this. So we just have to wait. Unless you've got any other ideas, please send me an email and help me out. Alrighty, that's it. And thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the weekend. Cheers.